This week, the Indian stock market soared to new heights. Nifty, mid-cap, small-cap, and even niche sectors were all in the green. But is this rally sustainable? What's the truth behind Trump's tariff drama? And how is the global power game affecting your investments? FIIs pouring money, defense stocks on fire, but Asian paints is dripping red. And globally, buckle up as we decode everything from explosive sector gains to looming competition in paint stocks. Welcome to your weekly wrap with Dalal Street Decode. This week, ending 16th May 2025, Indian equities saw a broad-based rally supported by strong domestic cues and robust FII inflows of Rs5, 392 crore. Benchmark Indian indices rose this week as investors welcomed a ceasefire with Pakistan and Trump's comments on a possible trade deal with India. Expectations of a rate cut after inflation cooled also helped improve sentiment. The Nifty 50 surged 4.2% for the week, while the BSE Sensex gained 3.6%. The small-cap index soared 9.2%, while mid-cap stocks surged 7.2% this week. The IT index jumped 5.8% as concerns over a recession in the US abated. Only 3 of the 30 Sensex and the 50 Nifty stocks ended in the red. These were IndusInd Bank, Bharti Airtel, and Sun Pharma. IndusInd dropped as it disclosed more accounting issues, while Airtel slipped after Singapore Telecom sold a 1.2% stake in the company for about $1.54 billion. Sun Pharma fell on worries about US tariffs. State-run Bharat Electronics was the top gainer this week, surging 15% as investors lapped up stocks with exposure to the defense industry. Adani Enterprises was the next best performer. As many as 8 companies, including Hero Motocorp, Bajaj Auto, Jio Financial, Tata Steel and Trent, jumped between 8 and 12%. Almost 15 Nifty companies, including index heavyweight Reliance Industries, recorded a gain of between 5 and 8%. This set also included Grasim, Adani Ports and IT companies Infosys, Wipro and HCL Technologies.
Bharti Airtel profit before exceptional items jumped 77% to Rs 5,223 crore. Cipla consolidated net profit rises 30% to Rs 1,222 crore, beating estimates. Tata Motors consolidated net profit slumps 51% to Rs 8,470 crore, but tops expectations. Hero Motocorp profit is up 6.4% at Rs 1,081 crore. Tata Steel consolidated net profit more than doubles to Rs 1,301 crore, exceeding estimates. Tata Power consolidated net profit climbs 16.5% to Rs 1,043 crore. JSW Energy consolidated net profit is up 16.1% at Rs 408 crore. Muthoot Finance profit grows 22% to Rs 1,444 crore. Royal Enfield bike maker ICA's profit revs up 27% to Rs 1,362 crore. Shree Cement net profit drops 16% to Rs 556 crore. Jockey India licensee Page Industries profit jumps 51.6% to Rs 164 crore, topping forecasts. Hindustan Aeronautics consolidated profit falls 8% to Rs 3,977 crore. Singapore Telecom sells 1.2% stake in Bharti Airtel for $1.54 billion. India's trade deficit widens to $26.42 billion in April from $21.54 billion in March as exports fall. India's unemployment rate for ages 15 and above is at 5.1% in April, according to government data. Fugitive Nirav Modi asks a London court for bail pending extradition from the UK to India. Chivas Regal maker Pernod Ricard loses bid for New Delhi license again. Car sales to dealers rise nearly 4% in April to 348,847 units, according to Siam data. iReader files a bankruptcy case against Gensol Engineering in NCLT amid fraud allegations. The government okays a semiconductor joint venture between HCL Group and Taiwan's Foxconn. MSCI adds Coromandel International and Nikkar to the Global Standard Index. IT firm LTIMindtree lands its largest ever contract worth $450 million.
Globally, markets were optimistic thanks to a slight easing in trade tensions and improved economic outlooks. US CPI data indicated falling inflation, boosting equity sentiment. US indices S&P 500 up 4.53%, Dow Jones up 2.36%, Nasdaq 100 up 6.38%. Europe and Asia. FTSE 100 up 1.44%, Nikkei 225 up 2.24%, Kospi up 1.65%, Hang Seng up 2.66%, Shanghai up 0.89%. Meanwhile, Trump made headlines again with claims about India offering zero tariffs and orchestrating ceasefires, sparking short-term optimism, but markets largely shrugged it off. Talking about the changing colours, metaphorically speaking, US President Donald Trump said this week that India had offered a trade deal that proposed zero tariffs on American imports, It is very hard to sell in India, and they are offering us a deal where basically they are willing to literally charge us no tariffs, Trump said in the Qatari capital Doha during his visit to the Middle East. Trump has been putting pressure on India to reduce import duties even before he was re-elected as president in November last year, and even called the country a tariff abuser. Last month, Trump imposed a 26% reciprocal tariff on imports from India, in addition to the 10% baseline tariffs imposed earlier. These were part of his broader strategy, where he levied baseline and reciprocal tariffs on all of America's trading partners on April 2nd, before hitting a pause on April 9th. India, like other countries, now has 90 days to stitch a trade deal with the US. India-US trade totaled about $129 billion in 2024, with India running a large surplus. While the Indian government hasn't yet commented on an agreement, Trump's statement, if true, would mark a dramatic change in bilateral trade ties. Trump didn't just stop at trade. He also chided Apple Inc. for increasing iPhone manufacturing in India, and said the Tim Cook-led American company should make more smartphones in his home country. Apple has shifted some of its manufacturing from China to India, and recently said it will make most of its iPhones sold in the US at Indian factories as part of a strategy to shield itself from potentially higher tariffs in China. In fact, Apple's growing manufacturing presence in India has been one of the rare success stories for the country, and it would be a big loss for India if the company were to now change its plans under Trump's pressure. Brent crude at $64.89 per barrel, up slightly. Rupee depreciated to 85 rupees and 52 paise per dollar due to RBI interventions. Gold prices rose to 96,061 rupees per 10 grams, up by 3%. 10-year GSEC yield stood at 6.26% stable amid global uncertainty. Keep an eye on these stocks for potential action. Next week, HAL and Bharat Dynamics riding the defense sector momentum. SBI and ICICI Bank, driven by banking earnings and Capex push. DLF and Godrej Properties continuing the realty rally. Tata Motors and M&M with the auto demand rebound. And finally, Zomato and Paytm creating buzz around the digital space. Key events to watch out for. The US Fed speech midweek, India's inflation print follow-up analysis, the foreign institutional investors' investment pattern, and the Q4 earnings wrap-up. Let's begin with a sector that's literally losing colour, the Indian paint industry. Asian Paints, the undisputed market leader, shocked everyone with a 45% drop in Q4 profits and a 33% decline in FY25 earnings. Revenue dipped 4.3% quarter-on-quarter and 4.5% year-on-year, the weakest in decades. CEO Amit Singhal cited a demand slowdown not seen in 20 years. The stock is down around 33% from September highs. But why should you, as an investor, care about a paint company? Because paint is a proxy for economic activity. Paint Sector 101. It's a consumer discretionary product with cyclical demand. There's a high correlation with GDP, real estate and auto sales. It's an oligopoly market, but entry barriers are weakening. Birla Opus under Grasim entered the market in 2024 and has already captured 6.8% of the market share. Meanwhile, Asian Paints saw a decline from 59% to 52%. And there's a buzz that JSW might acquire Akzo Nobel India, known for Dulux, setting the stage for a three-way battle. Asian Paints isn't just battling demand, it's defending its throne. Now let's switch to a sector where investor interest is sky high. Defense. Bharat Electronics rose 15% this week, and for good reason. High government spending on indigenous defense manufacturing, strategic tailwinds, border tensions make in India push export orders. Defense sector demystified, public sector dominance, Bell, HAL, BML, Mazagon, Dock, steady long-term order books, revenue visibility, valuation catch-up with private peers. Bell has secured new orders worth 15,000 crore rupees with a strong focus on radar and naval systems. HAL has seen a dip in profit, but maintains a robust order pipeline. Meanwhile, Adani Defence, L&T and Bharat Dynamics are all gaining traction. Think of defence stocks as India's answer to long-term strategic investments, offering a blend of stability and sovereign support. As we step into another crucial week, remember, markets move on news, but wealth builds on knowledge. Like, share and subscribe to Dalal Street Decode. Comment below which sector are you betting on next week. Don't miss our daily shorts and educational playlist to stay ahead in your investing journey. Decode markets, decode wealth.